Sometimes as business owners, we can get very rigid with expectations about how we want to reach a goal or implement a strategy in our business. And this can often lead to us being unprepared and easily blindsided by risks or roadblocks that arise in those circumstances. In today's video, I want to talk about Plan Bs, which is contingency planning as a risk management strategy to get proactive in planning for the gaps and weaknesses in both projects and our business operations. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Julie Yokoyama, and I am a small business operations strategist. On this channel, I share my best strategies for organizing your business backend, for protecting your operations through risk management strategies like contingency planning, and for helping you plan for business growth. If you're a service-based business owner, please subscribe below because this content is for you. Okay, so today we're going to talk about contingency planning and why it is a valuable strategy and skill to learn and implement across all of your business affairs. So first, let's define contingency planning. It's Plan B in a nutshell, and that's a course of action designed to help you respond effectively to a significant future event or circumstance that may or may not happen. This can be what I like to call if-then planning. So identifying risk, and once you identify, okay, if this happens, then what do I do? So I'm going to take this into a sports analogy. And if you're not a sports fan, I think it's still going to be accessible to you. Don't you worry. We're going to look at football quarterbacks. The quarterback is the leader of the team, which is you, the business owner, and you are calling the shots. Imagine you're the quarterback in a huddle. You're at the 50-yard line. You want to reach the end zone for the touchdown. And you are like, I got it. You call the play. All right, everybody breaks, gets on the scrimmage line, and everyone's in alignment, ready to go. But before the ball snaps to you, you look at the other team and you see that they are not lined up the way you thought they would be. So we're going to take this into two scenarios. Quarterback A, he's only got the one play. He planned for the best case scenario of, I am at the 50-yard line. I want to go to the end zone. This play, in my opinion, is how I feel will best get there. But he has no other alternative solution for what he's seeing. His option is, I guess we just run the play and take our lumps. And those lumps might be that defenders easily break through the offensive line and he gets tackled, which is a loss of yardage. Potentially he gets injured. Potentially he fumbles the ball. The other team grabs it and runs for a touchdown. Or maybe it's still a positive outcome where there's minimal yardage gained, but the play is essentially not that effective. Alternatively, they could forfeit the game. They could just quit and be like, well, we're not going to do it at all. So now let's look at quarterback B. This quarterback, he calls the play, has the same goal, gets to the scrimmage line, sees the other team lined up in a way that he was not expecting, but he had done his homework in advance and he had thought through scenarios of, okay, well, this is what I want to happen, but what could get in the way of that happening? So this is where contingency planning comes in, identifying the risks of, okay, well, the team could line up in this alternative way. And now if that happens, what would I do? That's the if and then. If this happens, then what do we do? And that's where coming up with the plan Bs, the alternative plays to call. So having some alternative solutions in mind, the quarterback is standing at the scrimmage line, seeing what he's seeing, and he then has the opportunity to call an audible before the ball is snapped to him, and that is changing the play. He calls out an alternative thing, his team realigns, the ball snapped, and he goes for it. That increases the likelihood that the play is going to be successful, that there's going to be forward motion, that if they don't hit the goal of reaching the end zone and getting the touchdown, maybe they at least make it 10 yards and get the first down, or they get into field goal range to kick for 3 points. So there's just alternative positive outcomes that can happen. So now, what quarterback do you want to be in your business? Do you want to be the one-trick pony that has one idea for how things can go? And if anything happens outside of that expectation, there's paralysis and a sense of defeat potentially, or a scrambling and panic reaction that leaves you not necessarily thinking very clearly and not with as many options available to you of alternative solutions that could otherwise exist had you had some proactive insight. Or alternative quarterback of having plan Bs in mind and can be agile and resilient and pivot on a dime and allow for positive outcomes to still happen, minimizing the risk, preventing the risk, etc., which is essential at the end of the day for the essence of entrepreneurship. I mean, we need to be able to pivot on a dime as things change. 2020 was a great example of that, of something that nobody saw coming or had planned in their business, regardless of the size of the business. Many businesses were scrambling to figure out what to do differently to acclimate to the new situation and circumstance of the world. So, why is this all so important? For one, I think many entrepreneurs, we are a little bit more anxious. We're ruminating and worrying a little bit more. And so the exercise of contingency planning allows us to get a lot of that stuff out of our head onto paper and have this framework of identifying risks, prioritizing risk, and planning against risk as a way to channel that energy productively into our business. It also allows us to identify blind spots and that we may not otherwise see when we are caught up in the weeds of the day-to-day. And it allows us to become more resilient and agile, which is so necessary for sustainability as an entrepreneur. And being able to see the plays, call the shots, pivot as needed. And I think that's just such a really valuable life skill in general. And when I support my clients through this kind of planning, my intention is to teach them risk management as a valuable life skill, not just as a business skill. Because to not only look at your business this way, but all aspects of your life, and to consider possibilities and alternate approaches, it's just a recipe to allow us to not grip too tightly to our expectations and outcomes. And that can lead to more life fulfillment ultimately. If you like this video, comment below with your biggest takeaway. If you haven't already, hit subscribe and I'll catch you in the next video.